Hi everyone, this is Daphne. I'm back again with my daily tips on bouncing back after adversity. Or, as a matter of fact, even during adversity, if you can identify that you're in the midst of an adversity, you can use these tips. So, I am here today to present tip number 2. But before I get into that, I just want to talk with you a little bit about the first video, which was video number 1 dealing with self forgiveness. And I gave you certain activities to do, and I want you to write in the box below the video. There are sections there for comments and remarks. I want you to, after you watch it, I want you to write in there and tell me what it was like for you going through that activity. Were you comfortable doing it? What really happened for you with that? So I want to hear from you, okay? Right there, was it comfortable? Was it not comfortable? Was it taxing on you? Or was it easy for you to forgive yourself? So go ahead, write the comments under each video. I want you to write the comments under that. So the comments for number 1, you're going to know, write it under video number 1 and video number 2, and so on. You'll write the comments and the remark there. Just give me your feedback. You can write your first name or whatever you want to do it, but I want to get feedback. I want to hear from you about these different tips and whether they're working for you. So here we are, day number 2, video number 2, and tip number 2 is da 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 da. Releasing the guilt. Releasing the guilt. Ladies, 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 you and I know how we can hold on to that G word. We hold on to guilt and we carry it and we carry it and we carry it. So, when we are looking to bounce back out of adversity, we cannot afford to hold on to guilt. We have to find ourselves at a place where we say, listen, it happens and so what? Today's a new day for me to carry on with my life no matter what. I'm not going to let nothing hold me hostage. So, you forgave yourself already. And that forgiveness actually give you permission now to get rid of all the guilt that you are harboring. So, you grab out your page again and you jot down the lessons you learn from what I'm saying here about releasing the guilt. So, on one paper, you write the lessons that you're learning from what I'm saying, and you place that in your journal. And then on a loose piece of paper, I would like for you to list all the guilt that you've been harboring. And again, yes, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to tell you to burn it or flush it. All right? If you're burning it on the stove, be sure to have a skillet or something there with some water. So when you light it, you can hold it over that so you don't cause any fire or any accident. So on sheet number 2, the loose sheet, is the sheet where you list all the guilts that been holding you hostage. And in your journal, you list all the lessons that you have learned from me by listening to releasing the guilt. All right? Guilt. When we harbor or when we encourage guilt and we live with guilt, it harbors a burden on our shoulder, our head, and excuse me. Oftentimes you will find that you have a tension between your shoulders and your neck. And sometimes your neck is even cooked up like that, you know. It is so rigid. You can't even tilt your head, and that's how rigid, because of all the tension that you are holding with all the guilt. Bottom line is that guilt harbors burdens on you. You get up, you can't sleep at nights because you're always worrying yourself and concerning yourself about something that happened 12 years ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Let it go. Free yourself. It happened, and so what? It's time for you to move on. And that's what you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, you know something? The person I'm looking at today, it's not the same person that committed that act. I am a transformed person. I have reinvented my life. I am now in total control of my life. So, excuse me, guilt, you have no power. You have no control over me. None whatsoever. You do not have over me. So, I command you to go. Go, go, go. You have no control over me. All right? When you encourage guilt in your life and you live a life with guilt, you are so stressed. You get up every day, you stress. You walk down the streets, you see two people talking and laughing. All of a sudden, you think they're talking about you. Oh, and you roll your eyes and you wheel your head and everything because they're talking about me. What they have to be laughing about? They must be laughing about me. They must be talking about me. No, they are not. But because you're harboring such guilt in your life, it does not allow you to be free. So, only you can fix that. Only you. I'm giving you the pointers and the direction that I want you to go to accomplish releasing the guilt. However, you got to believe in yourself to do that. Remember, I know it wasn't easy for you to forgive yourself of all those things that you had on the list yesterday, but guess what happened? You did it. Yay! You did it. So now you boost yourself a little, you have a little encouragement. And now you can let go. So you can walk around with your shoulders high. And you can feel good about yourself. No matter what you have done, no matter where you have been. Those things no longer have power and control over you. Living with guilt will let you feel as if you are worth less. You're worth less and you are less than. That is the type of feeling it gives you. And you know that God did not make nobody. You are a child of God. You are precious in his sight. It doesn't matter what mistakes you have made. You are still his. You remember what he did for the prodigal son. The prodigal son returned home. So no matter where you have been and you probably feel like a prodigal listening to me today, there are loving arms. The universe has extended loving arms for you to come back home. Come home. Come back home. You are worthwhile. You are worth it. You are not worth less. You are not less than. It doesn't matter how dark of a valley or a dungeon you were in. You are already forgiven. Now, it's for you to release that guilt and step out boldly into your greatness. When we live with guilt, we oftentimes think we have no value. You know, you're not worthwhile to your family don't love you, the people in your community don't love you, the people on your job hate you. You think that, oh my God, why am I living? I have no value. And deep down, it's just because you have those negative voices inside of you, because of all the guilt that you're harboring, that is telling you that you're worthless, you don't have any value, and all of that. You got to know to talk to that voice, and you know this is the time when you tell it, shut up. Shut up. You have no control over me. You have controlled me long enough. This has come to an end. It stops now. You have no control over me. Absolutely none. You have to learn to speak into your situations to get the results that you want. Guilt allow you to feel hopeless. Yes, it does. I can sit here and I can tell you, because I remember back in the day. Listen, I told you guys yesterday that what I am sharing with you, it's my life experience. I have been there. I have been in your shoes. And yes, it was not easy for me. And that's why I can now commit to sharing with you. If I have worked on this situation and I am afloat now and I can share it with you, there's no reason why you should be struggling to figure it out. This is why I am spending this time to share with you, so that you know what it is that you can do to kind of speed up the process. Guilt dehumanizes us. Yes, it does. So you have to see all these things and you have to call them what they are. Speak to them. You are trying to let me feel less than a human. You are trying to let me not have any hope. You are letting me feel valueless. You are letting me appear as if I am worthless. You are stressing me out. You have placed so much burden on my shoulders. But the buck stops here. No longer will you have control over me in these areas. Guilt have us living in fear. I remember as a child growing up in Jamaica, and they would say, oh, you can't stay out late, you can't stay out in the dark because Duppy will follow you. That's what they call spirit. The spirit of the dead in Jamaica, we call it Duppy. And as a child, you'll be walking in the dark because we're living in the country. And all of a sudden, when it became dark, in your mind start playing tricks with you, and you would hear like footsteps behind you, and you start run to get home, and you get home and your heart is beating with all the fear because of what you were told as a child. And this is the same thing that guilt will do to you. But I tell you, you must be encouraged. You must be encouraged to stand up and speak to guilt. Let it know that I am calling you out. I know what you are doing to me, and I will no longer allow you to do these things to me. You got to look in the mirror, eyeball to eyeball, and talk to guilt and let it know. You got to go. You got to go. You are not owning this real estate. You're not owning this real estate. This real estate is above you. You will no longer own here. I am giving you notice. You got to go. Guilt causes anxiety. Anxiety. People cannot leave out their homes because they have all these anxiety attacks. And when you start working with them and start talking with them and digging deep and peeling the onion bulb back, you find out that from way when they were 13 years old, something happened. And that's when they start to harbor that guilt. So remember, you need to look in your life and remember, I can only give you the tools, but you will have to do the work. You know, you can prepare the soil and you can buy the seeds at the nursery shop. But if you never put those seeds in the ground, you will never have blooms come spring and summer. Remember that. So I'm helping you to prepare the soil, but you will need to go out there and you will have to dust the seeds in, and you'll have to water the seeds. And come summer, you are going to have bloom. You'll be able to offer somebody a bouquet of flowers. So the tips that I'm sharing with you now in these videos, you will get the opportunity to share them with somebody else because you put the work in, you put the time in. So, as you examine your life and as you write your journal entry for today, for tip number 2, remember tip number 2 is what? Releasing the guilt. And guilt does what? It harbors burdens on you, heavy weight on your shoulders. It presents stress in your life. It's oftentimes let you feel as if you are worth less. Guilt lets you feel as if you have no value. Guilt tells you there's no hope. It is over. It is hopeless. That's what guilt says to you. Guilt dehumanizes us. Guilt lets us want to live in fear. And last but not least, guilt has us demonstrating behaviors of anxiety. I know that you deserve much more. So I want you to build the faith, build the courage, and call these items out. List all the guilt that you have been harboring over the years and set it ablaze or rip it up and flush it. And write all the lessons that you have learned from this video in your journal. And don't forget, after you watch it, to come back and leave your comments and your remarks below. All right? I want you to visit my website, DaphneClarke-HudsonEmpowers.com. Get on my mailing list so you can be encouraged and that you can be invited and be kept informed about all the things that I am doing. We also have some neat freebies that we give away there. And if you have more questions that you want to ask, something confidential, you can always email me at dynamicdaphne1@gmail.com. And you can visit my booking page, my appointment page at bookeo.com/lowercase dr Daphne, and you can book for yourself a complimentary coaching session with me. So again, remember, this is your time. This is your opportunity to release the guilt so you can so that you can start your journey back to the person that you were meant to be. Do not allow adversities and struggles to hold you down. Yes, you can build your bounce back ability and you can come back bigger, greater, more powerful than before. Love you. Thank you again for spending this time with me. I pray that you get some value out of these tips that I'm sharing with you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Again, this is Dynamic Daphne, your bounce back coach. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.